This is an iHeart podcast.
Horsepower, 0 to 60 times. These are among the benchmarks when considering a new vehicle. But Lexus believes there are some things, immeasurable things, that matter more. Awe, exhilaration, joy. How a cabin feels like it was crafted with you in mind. The way an engine note resonates with your soul. Because a car that doesn't make you feel something is a car that stops short of amazing. That's the standard of amazing. Lexus. Experience amazing.
She's seen Encanto more times than she can count. And she can count to 10. She mentioned Mirabel in every conversation. But the moment she actually met Mirabel, she was speechless. That's pura magia. Find yours at Walt Disney World Resort.
5 years, 10 months, and 2 days. That's how long it took to grow the 38 inches to ride on Cali River Rapids. But the moment the wait finally ended, that was pura magia. Discover it at Walt Disney World Resort.
Hello. From Wonder Media Network, I'm Jenny Kaplan, and this is Womanica. This month we're talking about outsiders, women who marched to the beat of their own drum and rejected stereotypes about what women should be. They're aesthetic pioneers, norm benders, and often some of the only women in their field. You're sitting in a packed music hall sometime in the 1870s. A woman takes the stage and a hush falls over the crowd. But this performer doesn't look like any woman you've ever seen. She's dressed in male clothing, trousers, a double-breasted sport coat, a neatly cropped haircut, and even a mustache. In a distinct alto voice, she begins to sing from the perspective of this finely dressed gentleman character. Then, as if by magic, she disappears and reemerges in a flash. This time in a military costume, ready to jump into another song. That is just a taste of what audiences witness during a performance by today's Womanican. Today we're talking about the first male impersonator to grace America's variety theater scene, an entertainer who blurred the lines between male and female both on and off stage. Please welcome Annie Hindle. Annie got her start on stage not in America, but in her home country of England. She was born sometime in the 1840s, though we're not certain exactly when or where. There are few confirmed biographical records, and little of her personal archive exists today. What we do know is Annie's theatrical career began in the 1860s, when she was a young adult, beginning to perform in British music hall, a popular performance style during the Victorian era. The male impersonation act she would become famous for was part of her repertoire from the beginning. In an early advertisement in 1864, Annie described herself as a great serio-comic and impersonator of male characters. By 1867, she had popular and well-received performances in music halls throughout the country. One newspaper announcement noted that Annie's run at a local theater had to be extended multiple nights due to its popularity. In 1868, Annie and her mother immigrated to the United States, taking a chance on building a more lucrative career in a new country. Though male impersonation wasn't unheard of in British theater, the performance style had yet to grace American stages. Variety was an emerging theater style that featured a range, or variety, if you will, of singing, dancing, and comedic acts, catered toward working-class audiences. The performances often included parody and social critique. It was on one of these stages that Annie found success in America. Mere weeks after landing in New York City, Annie was already booking gigs and soon began performing with theater troupes in cities all over the country. Unlike in England, where Annie had performed both male and female characters, in America, she mostly eliminated female roles from her show. She performed an array of songs during her act, each one as a different male character trope. There was the sturdy working man, the military man, and the dandy, a meticulously groomed upper-class gentleman. This last caricature was particularly popular with Annie's working-class audiences, who felt more confident in their manliness as they watched her satirize effeminate and naive rich men on stage. She would perform quick costume changes in between songs, leaving audiences in awe and delight. The topics and characters Annie included in her act were not uncommon for the time, but she set herself apart through her transgressive approach to gender. Her audiences were aware that Annie was a woman, and this added additional humor and scandal to her performances. Not long after she launched her American career, Annie met and married fellow British comic and singer Charles Vivian. But their marriage dissolved within weeks. Annie later claimed that their marriage had quickly turned violent, accusing Charles of heavy drinking and physical abuse. Annie's first marriage falling apart did not stop her career or her love life. The rest of Annie's career would be punctuated by a series of new marriages and romances, several of them with women. While performing in Baltimore, Annie met dancer Nellie Howard. In December of 1868, they reportedly married in Washington, D.C., though the union is difficult to verify. Regardless, it is one of the earliest observed instances when Annie's male impersonation performance bled into her personal life. She was reported to have given the name Charles Hindle for the marriage ceremony. Annie's rumored marriage with Nellie also ended soon after it began. She had at least 2 more marriages with other women, both occurring well into her career. The first was to her dresser, Anna Ryan, in 1886. They tied the knot in Grand Rapids, Michigan, where Annie again presented herself as Charles Hindle. This time, the marriage made national news with splashy headlines like "Woman Marries Woman" and "Miss Ryan's husband wore petticoats." The Victorian-era press didn't quite know what to make of Annie's union. Some accused Annie of secretly being a man all along. Others speculated Annie's gender was a mystery never to be solved. This was just fine with Annie, who didn't seem too concerned with clearing things up for the public either way. While they were married, Annie put her stage career on hold, living a mostly private life with her new wife in New Jersey. After Anna died in 1891, Annie went back to touring. Soon, Annie was walking down the aisle again, this time with Louise Spangle in Troy, New York in 1892. Annie's unconventional marriage sparked national coverage again, with the Boston Globe declaring, "Annie Hindle marries a dear Troy girl." Though the public reliably reacted to Annie's nuptials with scandal, shock, and confusion, her career was not greatly harmed by the sensational coverage, though her popularity did decline as the decades passed. She continued performing professionally until the early 1900s. She died around that time, though we don't know exactly when or where. Annie's career showcased the boundary-pushing nature of theater, particularly as a refuge for those relegated to the margins of society. Her fame and success in American variety was not hindered by her cross-dressing performance. In fact, it was exactly what made her so incredibly popular and well-regarded. Her style paved the way for other male impersonators like her contemporary Ella Wessner, and also served as a foundation for decades of cross-dressing performance styles to come. Annie's marriages, despite the tabloid-like manner in which they were covered at the time, also served as evidence that gay marriage is not a new concept in the United States. Though the terminology didn't exist at the time, her life and performance hints at early formations of transness, gender nonconformity, and legally recognized queer romances. All month, we're talking about outsiders. For more information, find us on Facebook and Instagram at Womanica Podcast. Special thanks to Liz Kaplan, my favorite sister and co-creator. Talk to you tomorrow.
Horsepower, 0 to 60 times. These are among the benchmarks when considering a new vehicle. But Lexus believes there are some things, immeasurable things, that matter more. Awe, exhilaration, joy. How a cabin feels like it was crafted with you in mind. The way an engine note resonates with your soul. Because a car that doesn't make you feel something is a car that stops short of amazing. That's the standard of amazing. Lexus. Experience amazing.
Explore the winding halls of historical true crime with Holly Fry and Maria Tremarchi, hosts of Criminalia, as they uncover curious cases from the past. The legend of the highwayman suggests men dominated the field, but tell that to Lady Catherine Ferrers, known as the Wicked Lady, who terrorized England in the mid-1600s. Her legend persists nearly 400 years after her death. Highwaymen are in the hot seat this season. Find more crime and cocktails on Criminalia. Listen to Criminalia on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is an iHeart podcast.